Your credit score is quietly judging you right now, and the rules it's using might be older than your oldest pair of jeans. We're talking about a system built decades ago that still holds serious power over your mortgage rate, your car loan, and frankly, your financial dignity. Here's the thing, the two metrics that dominate your score, utilization and age of accounts, were designed in an era before buy now, pay later, crypto collateral, and subscription everything cluttered the financial landscape. The catalysts for questioning these metrics aren't just academic, they're showing up in real rejection letters and baffling approvals that make no logical sense. Think of credit utilization like a gas tank analogy that Wall Street invented and never updated. The idea being that if you're using more than 30% of your available credit, lenders assume you're running on fumes. But in a world where people strategically put everything on one rewards card and pay it off weekly, that gauge is reading empty when the tank is actually full. Age of accounts, meanwhile, is basically the system rewarding you for being old, or at least for having old plastic in your wallet you haven't touched since 2009. There was genuine optimism when alternative data started entering the conversation, with fintech lenders promising to look at rent payments, utility history, even your Netflix subscription consistency, and for a moment, it felt like the old gatekeeping was finally crumbling. But here we are, and FICO still reigns, still carrying around 80% of lender decisions. According to recent industry reporting, the revolution got delayed at the credit bureau. The psychological weight of watching your score drop 20 points because you closed a card you never used is the kind of financial gaslighting that makes perfectly responsible people feel irresponsible. As economist Mehrsa Baradaran once framed it, the credit system was never designed as a neutral meritocracy. It was designed to reflect and often reinforce existing wealth patterns. And yet, millions of people play the game anyway, optimizing their utilization percentages, like day traders watching a ticker, because the alternative, being locked out of prime lending, is simply too costly to ignore. Historically, credit scoring has gone through cycles of reform that never quite reform enough. The Vantage Score model emerged in 2006, promising disruption, and it did shake things up, but the fundamental behavioral signals stayed largely intact. Each new lending crisis, from the subprime collapse of 2008 to the pandemic payment freeze of 2020, reveals fresh cracks in these metrics. And yet, the patch job always preserves the original architecture. Here's the pattern the data keeps showing us. Utilization below 10% is ideal, but almost nobody talks about the fact that zero utilization can actually hurt you because the system interprets no activity as no data. Age of accounts matters enormously in traditional scoring, yet a 22-year-old with thin credit who pays rent on time for 3 years is statistically a safer borrower than a 40-year-old with a long history of minimum payments. The model just can't fully see that yet. The community of credit hackers, personal finance influencers, and Reddit forums full of people gaming the system has essentially created a parallel education system that the bureaus never intended to exist. When your neighbor tells you to ask for a credit limit increase every 6 months without spending more, they're not giving you a life hack. They're revealing the absurdity of a system that rewards the appearance of discipline over the practice of it. The biggest misconception floating around is that carrying a small balance each month helps your score. It doesn't. And that myth has cost people real money in interest payments while doing absolutely nothing for their FICO. Utilization is calculated at the statement closing date in most models, which means you can pay in full every single month and still look like you're drowning if your timing is off. Practical lessons from decades of credit behavior research are actually pretty straightforward. Keep utilization low by the statement date, don't close old accounts out of tidiness, and treat credit applications like they cost you something, because they do. The discipline move isn't to obsess over your score daily, it's to build systems around your behavior, so the score takes care of itself, the way a healthy diet shows up eventually on a scale. The irony is gorgeous if you step back far enough. The most creditworthy people are often the ones who need credit least, and the system is specifically built to reward that circularity. Patience and position here means maintaining your credit infrastructure even when you don't need it, because the moment you do need it is exactly the wrong time to start building it. At a philosophical level, your credit score is not your character, it's not your intelligence, and it's certainly not your worth, but it is a language that the financial system speaks fluently, so you might as well become bilingual. The metrics haven't changed as fast as the world has, and that gap between reality and measurement is where smart, prepared people find their advantage. Whether the bureaus modernize in the next 5 years or cling to their 1989 playbook for another decade, the rational move is the same play by the current rules while understanding their limitations so no single algorithmic quirk derails a decision you've worked years toward. You can be frustrated by the system and still win inside it, and that dual awareness is more valuable than any credit tip you'll find on a listicle. If you're ready to put that credit foundation to work, whether that's stepping into real estate investing, getting contracting work done on a property, or finding the right lender who actually understands your full financial picture, check out our links in the description below.